there are two ways of entering Eton, right?
Right.
One is you go through the normal route where you kind of, I don't know when you have to register, but then you take an exam at 11, then you take another exam at 13. Now, I didn't go through any of that because I had initially had no intention of going to Eton. I was studying at an international school, which actually went on to Mohawk. So I could have stayed there for a long time, had good friends. But the second way to enter Eton was to go through a scholarship called the King Scholarship, which, by the way, the King refers to King Henry VI of the UK, not any part of the royal Thai family. King Henry VI founded Eton College in 1440, initially as a school for underprivileged children. And he gave a donation or endowment for 15 students per year to study at Eton with assistance on school fees. That tradition carried on. I mean, the school expanded, they accepted kind of fee-paying students as well, but they always committed to giving scholarship to 15 students. The only condition is you have to fly there and take a 1-week-long exam. So that's what I did when I was 13.
What was the exam consist of?
So it was multiple subjects. But the interesting thing was it tested potential and critical thinking rather than knowledge. If it tested knowledge, there's no way I would have been there because the curriculum was very different. So for starters, there were some subjects that I never studied, like French or Latin or classical Greek. So there's no way I could compete with the kids in the UK on that. But even on topics like maths and English and geography, it was more kind of critical thinking questions. And there were also exams that tested general thinking. It was called general paper. One of the questions I remember was, it was some kind of, they drew out this scenario where I think like two neighbors had a conflict. I think like one of the neighbors' trees like extended into the other guy's house. And then they said, imagine you were hired as a lawyer for one of the neighbors. Like, how would you present your case to court? And of course, there's nothing to do with knowledge, right? Like, no 13-year-old kid knows anything about the law.
Yeah.
But it just tested kind of how you would structure your thoughts.
Do you remember your answer?
Nope.
Oh, I want to know.
I think it was good enough. This is another thing I'm grateful for as well. They didn't care too much that you had to do really well in all subjects. They just cared that you had potential in a few. So my scores on French was abysmal. My score on English was horrendous. I mean, doing just a normal English paper was already difficult.
Yeah.
But the question I had was, here's a recipe for a certain type of food. Can you translate that recipe, which is modern English, into like old English?
Oh my goodness.
I was like, I barely understand modern English.